Good afternoon on what is a mild, grey and overcast day. It is Friday, November the 19th. I am back in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea. And some parcels to unbox. Now the next thing I am going to unbox is this. Now, didn't come in the post. I was handed this whilst I was at Grogmeet, a convention which took place in Manchester this last weekend. It's run by the same team behind the Grognard Files podcast, which I thoroughly recommend. It began talking about White Dwarf. Everything comes back to White Dwarf because it's by gamers who played back in the day and now come back to gaming. They've been doing it for 6 years, and then they got onto hosting a convention in Manchester. We basically it's been put aside, basically cancelled for lockdown, and then came back this last weekend, and it was a lot of fun. Great to see people, and really good to sit at the table and game and just catch up. And we all sort of know each other because we're regulars at these events and we do conventions around the country and that sort of thing. Anyway, hopefully you can get back to the gaming conventions of your choice. You've got one nearby. I got handed this. Not quite sure what's in it, but I presume it has something in here that I am going to want to review, or I'm expected to review. So let's just get the knife in there. There we go. Okay. So pulling this out, I have two things. We have Quarrel and Fable. And Tiddle seems to have taken some interest, and I have Smithy of Sacrilege. So these are postcards, and on the back what you've got is a complete little mini game. If Tiddle's here will let me show you. No, he won't. There we go. There we go. So that's on the back of Quarrel and Fable. Smithy of Sacrilege. Doesn't want me to let me show you this. So what's on the back is that. Come here. Okay. I'm just going to move. Yes. Can you pull that? Let me have that. Thank you. Sorry about that. He's not. Are you? So there's been an interesting sort of like one of the formats for role playing. The more recent ones, essentially, you've got the with the fanzines, and especially with ZineQuest, you have the move from the fanzine as an anthology of content, of dungeons and scenarios and classes and spells and magical items, has moved to containing a complete role playing game in sort of like 24 or 32 pages or 48 pages, or whatever the size. And the other thing is role-playing games sort of commercially sort of got bigger and bigger, and the other sort of like, not to say necessarily in opposition to that, but basically as one of the reactions to that is, how small can I make a role-playing game and it still be a role-playing game? So you get games, and they're the same thing with board games. But can I fit a board game in a sort of like a basically a tiny tin, or can I basically fit a role-playing game on a business card or a postcard? So what we've got here is essentially it's based on it's on Nate Treem's Tunnel Goons. It's cover up by Jess Shields, text by Sean F. Smith, originally titled Tunnel Puffins. Essentially, okay, so Smithy of Sacrilege is at last. Your 2-day hike is over. What you do might not make the history books, but it'll win you the bed and board the next few days to tell the tale of your Margaret Vale. Let's begin. So, okay, what you've got here is basically a complete means to create a character. Let's have a look. Background: Rockspawn Dwarf, Dark Silk Ruffian, Torrelta Scholar, Stormsea Corsair. Then you've got a list of occupations like Caravan Guard or Alchemist. And then you've got an aspiration such as Climb Mount Ash Peak, Dispense a Curse, Rout an Army, Best the Fang Gauntlet. And that's essentially it. Essentially, really, you've got the means. Essentially, you have the means of character creation, mechanic, okay, because that's in there as well. And then, really, with there's no setting as such here, but rather you have the implied setting of, well, I want to climb Mount Ash Peak. Well, tell me about Mount Ash Peak. Or what do you know about Mount Ash Peak? And here's what I know as the GM sort of thing. So yeah, that's essentially really minimalist. Sort of like create a character, go and do something, build a world as you play. Some assumptions at the end in terms of what you know about, for example, Mount Ash Peak or the opposing army or the Fang Gauntlet. You don't know what that is, but essentially, yeah. And you build a story around that. And then Quarrel and Fable, basically the same kind of thing. Essentially, there's less of there's no real advantage in essentially there's no real sort of like objectives built into these here in this one, so it's really just sort of like the page of rules and mechanics, and that's it. But again, there's nothing wrong in that. Okay, I want a really simple game, then I want, anything up to that is up to the referee and his players, and I mean, there's a challenge essentially here that what Sean F. Smith could do is go away and come back with basically a complete setting on a postcard like that to accompany this. So you could almost do like, a box set of postcards, with one or two role-playing games like this, and then different settings on the postcards. And you have a collection and basically open the box and go, okay, what am I going to play tonight? Here's, or one scenario per postcard sort of thing if you wanted to. Really play around with the format. So that's Quarrel and Fable, a Smithy of Sacrilege. I've got to admit, I love the cover of this on the Smithy of Sacrilege. It's basically with a diving suit with the great claws and the massive trident there. That looks evocative, but it's one of the things I would say doesn't quite match up with the text on the back, essentially. And I think really, I would challenge Sean F. Smith to sort of like come up with the Smithy of Sacrifice 2. What does that say? But again, he doesn't have to. The GM could, and the same thing again with Quarrel and Fable. So yeah, micro RPGs. If you go out and search, look up, just enter micro RPGs, you'll find them. And there's a complete book of them as well. So yes, I want to thank Sean F. Smith for arranging to get these into my hands for at Grog Meet. Such is my reputation, and I will review those in due course. So look forward to seeing down the links down below when I have. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button down below. And if you've got any questions or queries, do post them. I do take the time to read them. If you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me here with some parcels and some games or magazine and so on, which I'll unbox and then just talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for 10 minutes or so, all accompanied, of course, by a nice hot cup of tea and sometimes a cat who is not ours. Then please hit that subscribe button. Meantime, thanks again for watching. I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.